What if I told you the reason most people don't understand Bitcoin is because they don't understand money? But no, seriously, ask the average person to define it, not how to earn it, not how to spend it. Define it, and you'll get silence, or worse. Well, it's dollars, it's backed by the government, right? And that one sentence right there is why everything feels so broken. And it should be no surprise that people are working themselves to death, commuting, grinding, and hustling, only to realize they can't afford steak for the barbecue, or can't cover rent, or never even think about being able to afford a home. And it's not because they're lazy, not because they're irresponsible, but because they're being paid in Chuck E. Cheese tokens, and they don't even know it. And so in this video here, I'm going to walk through 3 powerful truths that everyone needs to pay attention to. And the first one, why most people are trapped in a game they don't even know they're playing. The second one, how real estate became a Trojan horse for Bitcoin, and why that's about to change. And last, the deeper transformation that Bitcoin offers, not just to your bank account, but to your family, your freedom, and your future. And this is something worth talking about. All right, so I want to take a quick minute to share some thoughts in reference to the whole Bitcoin euphoria right now. So as I'm combing through the headlines on X and everything else, I'm seeing more and more institutional adoption where we're having S&P 500 companies on top of nations and everything else, all excited about Bitcoin, but yet the price still hovers around $103,000 to $104,000. And of course, the maximalists are so excited and saying that any minute now it's going to surpass all-time highs and touch 200,000 and beyond. But then again, the average person, regardless of what side of the spectrum you fall on, whether you're a complete maximalist, meaning that Bitcoin is all you focus on, or you're a precious metals individual, there's somewhere along this spectrum where everyone fits in at. And me in particular, I'm more in the middle, far from being a maximalist, definitely a gold and silver enthusiast, but also love to speculate and look for opportunities for price appreciation, which allows me to be able to do other things more in the natural physical realm. But as always, if you guys want to hear more of these little short takes as well as my opinion on these subject matters, then definitely hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. And if you find value here, definitely take this, share for more people can find out an alternative perspective on what's going on. And then also drop a comment down below. Definitely would love to hear more of your thoughts on this subject matter. What if I told you that you're playing a game that you didn't even know you were in, and nevertheless definitely didn't sign up for? So imagine this, you're at an arcade such as David Buster's, Chuck E. Cheese, it doesn't even matter. You grind all day, you shoot hoops, you hit the lights, you throw the balls, you're sweating, exhausted, buzzing with energy, and at the end, you march up to the counter and hand over your big stack of tokens, and they give you a pencil. I remember when I was a kid, and you would accumulate all these tickets and all these coins, and you go up to the counter, you get a whole selection of things that you can select from, and the price tag on those things never actually matched the item you were able to actually purchase. And that's our economy right now. But then again, replace that with these units right here. And it's similar fashion. No matter how much of these you save, whenever you look at things you want to buy on a wall or online or in magazines or wherever you might, that price keeps going up. But then again, these things here, in reference to what people earn and save, you're going to always need a lot more of these tokens here or these receipts here to buy those same things on the wall. See, we trade our time, our labor, our life for fiat dollars. And when you try to cash out, they're barely enough to buy groceries, let alone at home. And so the question is, why is that? Most people don't focus on. And it's because fiat money is designed to lose value. You're being paid in a currency that someone else prints at will. No effort, no accountability, without limits. And then most people wonder why life is hard. But then again, they never manage to point it to the primary source. And so back to the arcade example. See, you're in an arcade where the game is already rigged. The prizes are fake and no one told you you were even playing this game. And if you question it or mention the word Bitcoin to some people who don't get it, people laugh and say, oh, that made up internet money. Like the dollar on their screen or perhaps in their wallet don't resemble the same type of currencies. Like this isn't printed out of thin air every time someone in power needs to solve a crisis. And the next point worth mentioning is the fact that real estate has always been the preferred medium for storing wealth because we were sold on the idea that having a home is your biggest financial investment. But then again, it's all relative to the economy that we're in. And when things are good, housing prices up. But whenever there's a correction, things come crumbling down. And so for decades now, real estate was the go-to safe hatch. But you couldn't trust the dollar. So in Canada right now, the savings button might as well have been replaced with the house, because that's where people store value, because it was the only place left from the conventional framework. But here's the twist. Real estate was never a savings tool. It was just a workaround, a crude hedge, and a scarcity-based asset in a broken system. And so now Bitcoin exists, which is pure digital scarcity. Real estate is losing its magic. So people didn't want to be landlords. They were forced into it. And now more and more are waking up to the reality that owning real estate is a business. It's not savings. It's not freedom. It's just a different flavor of fiat exposure wrapped up in drywall. And it gets even worse because if you stop paying property tax, the government takes your assets as well. So let's be honest. You don't own your home. You're more so just renting it, regardless of whether it's paid off or not, because you still got to pay taxes. And so basically you're renting it from the state. And Bitcoin, on the other half, You take custody, you own your share of the ledger, and there's no middleman, no permission, just you and simple math. And that's something that more people are starting to realize when it comes to comparing real estate with the accessibility of getting exposure to a digital ledger where you can have stakes in the game as small as a Satoshi. And then last is the deeper shift, which is basically that family, freedom, and the future that you want to live is all built on truth. And so this is where things get even beautiful and a little existential, because Bitcoin isn't just money, it's a mirror. It forces you to ask hard questions like, what am I working for? What do I want to leave behind? And what do I actually own? And so for people like me who spent years learning and studying on how to become an entrepreneur, saving in real estate and trying to create some type of generational wealth, the discovery of Bitcoin and other digital ledgers didn't just change my portfolio. It began to change the whole way in which I own finances. Because now for the first time, I can pass down something truly mine, not a bunch of complicated corporations or tax liable properties, just simple, clean, incorruptible digital scarcity, which is something that can be considered a digital family treasure, depending on how you want to look at it. And for the next generation, they too have options other than just holding on to digital IOU nothings, because they always can stack sats or get into physical silver and gold as well. And silver, more importantly, because it is the most undervalued asset as of now. And so as I mentioned earlier, there's room on the entire monetary investment spectrum for anybody to fit in at this point. So one thing is becoming increasingly obvious is that Bitcoin and other digital assets can bring back something that fiat stole, which is basically a peace of mind. So it restores long-term thinking, it reconnects people to their families, to their communities. It also replaces scarcity and stress with the stability and hope behind it. And that shift is already happening, quietly but fast, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you understand what money really is, the rest of the lies fall apart like wet cardboard. And so people begin to see the truth that the biggest scam in the world today isn't crypto, it's fiat currency and the destruction of purchasing power that it was designed to do. And so the saddest part is most people will live their whole lives without ever questioning it. But you don't have to, of course. You can always opt out. You can step outside the arcade. You can start saving in something real and tangible, which in my humble opinion, of course, is silver first and foremost, and gold second, and then Bitcoin and crypto last. Because ultimately, Bitcoin isn't about getting rich. It's about never being poor again. And it's about reclaiming your time, your labor, and your future. And maybe, just maybe, helping build a society that runs on truth instead of tricks. And so that, my friends, is something I wanted to bring to your attention, just to share of a deeper thought process and how I see the Bitcoin narrative, the crypto market, and of course, the importance of having precious metals in your mental framework as we begin to rethink this current monetary structure we're in, whether it be 1 ounce at a time, 1 gram at a time, or 1 Satoshi at a time. Either way, being able to redeem these notes now, but people still willing to take them, is a necessity. And of course, you've been doing it, I'm sure. But as always, don't want to share more thoughts, but that also suggested strategies as well as ways to get things done. And as always, click the links in the description for more ways to get your gold units as well as silver. And for those who might be new to the crypto space, definitely click the link in the description on ways to get started in the digital asset realm as well. So once again, taking a minute to share my 2 cents on a matter of subjects. Curious to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment if you found value. Hit that thumbs up. Take this, share it so more people can get an alternative perspective on what the mainstream media will not be telling you. That's for sure. Other than that, catch you guys later.